Okay, let's talk onboarding. More specifically, onboarding a company onto a 10-day sprint. So let me get my face out of the way. We're in double-digit sprints now, and what we've really learned is that onboarding, yes, you can send like a technical onboarding of making sure everyone has access to the files, they know what's happening, so on and so forth. But there's a lot of little micro unknown unknowns we've learned over the last year and a half that just can help sort of ease and smooth some of that stuff. So we're going to go through that today. If, like us, you're kind of an agency that's building or trying to go more towards that productized service, done for you or done with you, sprint kind of method that we think kind of a portion of the industry is going to. So very simply, I'll just go through this. This is what everyone who works with us will get this on their welcome board. So we have a shared Figma file where everyone can kind of comment, leave feedback, we discuss, we kind of go in together. But on day one, once they've logged on, this is what they see. So very simply, left to right, I'll go as quickly as possible so you get the gist, so you can apply it to your business rather than going through the weeds of all this stuff, so it's not too long. But up front, essentially, you want to start on hello and welcome. You previously to this, I'm sure we'll have sent an onboarding doc and an emails, we'll have aligned calendars, we'll have done all that, all money stuff sorted, we're in. So you want a project roadmap. So you want to have literally every single thing, like road day 1 to day 10, and then you want to have what is expected from you and what is expected from them. And then in the recap email every day, you want to say like priorities for tomorrow from us, priorities tomorrow from you. We're doing this, we expect this from you, you need to do this, that kind of thing. So everyone just knows that systematically we're going from 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, because there are some things like color that can be done on day 7 and day 8. And you can have a grotesque humanist typeface that vaguely looks in the general direction of what you want, but you don't lock it in till day 7. Whereas for all of your ad sets and stuff actually selling in the identity, you might be using some of the more traditional Google fonts, whatever, that are kind of in your arsenal, that you've got, the Geists and Inters of this world, let's be honest. But so basically to end on that, then you want to know, so they really see that, as you can see these little triangles here, we're always converging on a point. So first half of the week is very much what about this, and second half is very much this is like that. So you sign off on Friday. So we move from kind of creative mood board stuff, workshop, mood board, initial ideas. Traditionally, that would be stage 1, stage 2, and then stage 3. So like if in commercial work, but stage 3 happens on Monday. So that'd be how we do it in 10. Next, you want to kind of just reiterate of what you actually get. So obviously this is you also want to make this a component so you can toggle through. We have a couple of ones so you can just change this on the fly, so you don't have to edit it. Won't bore you with that. But what's the deliverables, what you're solving, what's going from, what is expected, what happens, just so people who maybe weren't on the discovery call know what they're getting in for. We found that a lot of people are maybe, we can have about 5, 6, 7, 8 people sometimes in the Figma file. Admittedly, probably a bit too much. Probably we should cap it about 4, but sometimes it's good. Sometimes people come up with some left-wing ideas and it's nice. But some people haven't been in any of the onboarding. They don't really know what's going on. They've never done anything like this before. It's very new. This sprinting, we're only able to do this because of the technology that we're doing and kind of experience and that sort of age we're in. We work with software and there is that kind of iterative approach that has now been accepted, and the old behemoth agencies with gatekeeping, all the strategy and stuff like that, it's not really the vibe anymore. It's very much show everything raw, share every day, in the weeds with you. That kind of mentality is a lot more respected now. So we're doing that, but some people haven't ever experienced that before. So next on that, we have like a department resources, which is just everything all the help we can give somebody without being in the room. So it's kind of like satellite consulting essentially. So if people want to get their head around the thing, people have found this quite useful. It's just a list of the Notion doc of everything we've got, and then we just have a simple welcome to Sprint Depth. So if people want to go deep dive, everything, how we work, what our hours are, what's expected of us, what they should expect, we expect from them, that kind of thing. Like just like this is how it is. So if we ever need to bring it up and be like, this is actually not how it works, or we don't expect this, or we're not expected to do this, or this is budget creep or hours creep, whatever, we can just have that as the base. And then next you want to have your project immersion file. Everybody who works with us, we ask them 13 specific questions that cover 4 different pillars that really help set up the sprint for us. They're not, I'd like to say that they're non-negotiable, but sometimes people don't do them, but they, or they bounce around them, but they are really helpful for that. So you want to have your questions, like your pre-game questions that you'd get. So if you've got a 10-day sprint, we would onboard everything so we do meetings the week before on the Monday in prep of the Monday starts, the 7 days. And then we do onboarding Figma. Everyone gets access to Figma files and stuff on the Thursday. They'll get project immersion when we receive deposit, 50% milestone. Then they can have time for that. That's got to be within 14 days start. So maybe they have this like 2 weeks or a week at the least to fill this stuff in. We have Notion. I kind of like Google Sheets, but we're trying to move to Notion, but there's benefits of like creating a template and then sharing. It's annoying, but then you have to do this and then it gets expensive in Notion. So it's whatever you have, but you want to have some kind of project immersion thing. I think I'm going to build a tool anyway. And then deliverable sheet. So you want to have we're a productized service, so it's the same every single time, the same rails. That's why we get better and more efficient every single time. So like double digits sprints now, we can, from where we started to where we are now, we now know a lot of things. So we iterate every single time. The deliverable sheet, when people have questions, we try and add that in. So it's very much like building a bit of software, to be honest. Just mostly labor. So next one, that's like the minimum you want to have for onboarding, really, to be honest, is that project roadmap. Next is kind of sprintology. So that's just your methodology. I won't bore you, but you can kind of quote unquote train a client to be a good client, and it's not their fault they don't know what a good client is or a bad client is. They will just bring in whatever way in which they work in Figma now, or in whichever way they comment, or whatever the culture is that they currently exist, they will just bring that in. And so they should, that's where they work. But if you're wanting them to change and have a completely different culture that's your culture, you have to map that out. So we have 6 pillars, be specific, be goal orientated, context equals clarity, be honest, be timely, and what you like is not as good for your business, basically. So do you like it versus does it work is the mechanic. So just to kind of upfront do that. And then we just have a really upfront thing of what a bad comments and what good comments look like in the same scenario. So cool versus this style feels on brand, or what if it was different versus can we try a thicker alternative? Like, we understand that this brings me on to this one. So we're done with you. When we first started set out, we wanted to be a done for you, which we then realized that only works at pre-seed. That only works to people that have no desire or kind of design acumen, and then they basically just need stuff to be able to drag and drop. We actually prefer working with businesses and brands that are around about, still early stage, but around about Series A. So they're building out a team. So maybe or maybe a bit bigger than Series A sometimes, but Series A, so there's a real team behind it. So you're not just kind of building a load of stuff, you're actually handing it over to a design team. They've probably got a VP, they've probably got a creative director, they're probably about to build people out, they've probably got a bit of talent of varying skills levels. So we like that challenge of building that real operational plug and play thing. But that requires like some stuff that we're not aware of. There are some unknowns. This is 10 days. We have an immersion document, and we know the space. Mostly work with software, mostly work with SaaS, mostly work with AI, powered SaaS and AI, kind of forward companies, let's say. So there are things that we can guess, but the nuances stuff requires a little bit of effort. So it's a high trust environment, but it's also medium effort. They have to comment, they have to be involved, they have to give time to the workshop. There is a little bit of a investment for them. There's skin in the game for them, and hopefully at that price point you'd imagine that there would. You're sitting at the 15, 20, 25 mark, so why wouldn't you? As I mentioned before, day 5, what about this? Day 6 to 10 is this works like that. So we go from, I guess, left brain, right brain. So very creative. We share dirty stuff sometimes, like really rough scamps. We get them involved. We're not precious. Best idea wins. And then on the right, then we're like, right, let's systematize it. So having that workflow is really good. We have a couple of tenets of sprinting. I won't waste your time on that, but just nice ways to do it. And then how you think that would be kind of you could probably stop there, but we just have a lot of ideas that we like to share, just because sometimes we come to a client cold that's only had 2 discovery calls. So, how we think, what is our methodology? Josh and I have loads of little things that we say to each other, and often, it'd be, oh, this plus that, or it's this, nostalgia, that. We want to define terms. Creativity is a very wibbly wobbly thing and can be a bit annoying at times when someone has a different understanding of one word, or tries to say, oh, make it, the classic, make it pop, make it brighter, make it more optimistic, whatever. Is when you have to operationalize that and actually do it, you want to get really clear and be like, what is that? What does that actually mean? So making sure you kind of know what that is. We break that down we have language when we talk about logos, we have language when we talk about identities, we have language when we talk about naming. I won't bore you with that, but whatever your system methodology is, go for it. And then finally, so with every good onboarding comes a good offboarding. And now we transfer everything, including works. We do the whole lot. So you get to, it's a Kickstarter, it's accelerating. It's so that designers can come in, they've got all the components, they've got everything. They've not just got guideline visuals. In the back of that, they've got 50 or 60 stuff of us iterating, not 100% artwork, but all in the style. So they've just got this hodgepodge of stuff that can get them going. That's the beauty of it, because we kind of bolt onto them, intentional pun, and that really kind of, we want to give them everything, because it's how we know it works. It's how agencies work. I just don't think, philosophically, I think having that kind of gap now actually isn't a good way to kind of dominate the market, and we want to iterate until we dominate. And we believe that being like the messy middle where you're in with them, trying to find salience and trying to find directions and helping navigate that stuff, actually, even though it can be quite laborsome, and unlike software, you can't kind of separate it from your 8 hours a day, we're building real stuff that's really going to be used, it's really going to execute. It's not just a sexy case study for a Sparkle project or a pre-seed that's not going to get anywhere, get no users. They just use VC money. Like, this is, we want to build proper brands, and that requires a little bit of people stuff, which isn't going to be replaced anytime soon by AI, which is quite good. Anyway, digression. Offboarding, you want to make sure that you transfer the link, so you need to have a few things. That's basically it. So whatever your project roadmap is, whatever your sprintology methodology, whatever your secret sauce is, whatever, share it up front. How you think, if you've got a methodology, it's also really good to map that out, because you realize where your gaps are, you realize if you've got any dogma or any kind of things where you're just assuming. You realize also if you're just regurgitating Seth Godin strategy books or whatever, or you actually know what you're, like you actually have defined what your maybe IP is. So we recommend doing that. You don't have to brand it like this, but we just like to do it. So yeah, this stuff has really helped us. Probably if anybody watches this that did in the first early stage sprints, this stuff didn't really exist. It kind of existed, but very messy. And basically every maybe 3 to 5 sprints, another pillar exists, and maybe we'll condense stuff and this and that. But the idea is just to remove as much friction and as much questions. Also, bonus, some people are scared to comment. Like, people, so you're the designer in the room, you're coming in as the agency, you are the kind of quote unquote authority of the creative, but you're also still hired to be in the room. And then another person coming in might be really great, but be in a different genre, so be more dev, or be more kind of builder, or be more, product manager, not creative. And they can sometimes be a bit nervous about commenting and sharing their thoughts. So that is, as much as you can kind of get to the roots of that and kind of encourage that, you'll really do it. And that's how we managed to only have a lot of async. So the brand agencies out there, they do it entirely async. I think they're only working with pre-seed people who are like a team of 2, and the founders are running away, and they just don't care, because if their product makes it and gets traction, they'll just rebrand it Series A anyway, because I just don't understand how you can not have it. But when there's skin in the game, and there's people who are going to hand over it, and there's a design team, you need to have calls. We have 4 calls, Monday, Friday, the Monday and the Friday. The Friday we go like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And then the Monday we after we've had 3 days off and it's a bit of fresh eyes, 2 days off, we come in, and then the Friday's handover. But we loom every single day, and then there's all comments all the time as well, which we kind of have a day lag on some of them. Some of them we reply to, some of them we kind of get the sentiment of. I'd like to build a tool for that, actually. But yeah, that's basically the gist. Hopefully that helps if you're building a sprint agency. And if you need a sprint agency, get in touch. Cheers.